How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Overland Talk of the Delta. This is Nathan Lewitt here with Mitchell Lewitt from all the way down in Bigelow, and this is going to be episode 3 of season 2 for us. What's up, Mitchell?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Well, today we are going to be talking about primarily new trails around the Arkansas area that we have kind of been interested to go and check out or have recently been looking around at. And if we have the time or need some time, then may even talk about a little bit of trail etiquette down the road. If not, then we'll save that for another episode. However, the one trail that I have been looking at the most lately outside of the Ouachita or the Arkansas side of the Ouachita National Forest area has been what I've heard a lot of people call the High Watermark Trail. And it's over in the, you can kind of say, the Fayetteville area. And it runs or intersects the Buffalo River quite a few times. There is a YouTube channel called Ozark Overland. What is it? Ozark Overland Adventures. There we go. Getting a little confusing because he kind of named the trail something himself as well. But he went out there, the guy that runs the channel, or I presume runs the channel, went out there about in 2020 and made a 5-part video series about an overlanding trip that he had out there, where he was also properly recording the trail on some whatever app he was using to document those trails. And he uploaded the GPS recording of that, so you can go down and download it yourself. But like I said, he made a 5-day episode out of it, and kind of what he would and his people kind of would roughly do in a day's trip to make it into 5 segments. But what's interesting about his version of the trail is that the version of the trail that I've been showing Mitchell on the maps has just been a straight little trail through, and there hasn't been a whole lot of information about it. Now, I hear during the wet season, if you're not lifted and got snorkels, then it might be a quite difficult trail to go down. However, he's listed a couple of side trails that you can use to go around these areas if you're not wanting to attempt to lose your vehicle. And not only that, but he makes a southern side of the trail that makes your way back if you're coming back. So that's what makes it into the 5 days. Where I eventually found this GPS recording of this map, or an article that this dude had made for this trail, was on the More Expo website. That's moreexpo.com/Midwest Overland Routes. That's the website link that I got. And his article was the first article on the top of the page. And he has links to his parted up YouTube videos and a little bit of a description there at the very top. Now, I've been wanting to go on that trail for a while, ever since I've heard of the High Watermark Trail, just because it's probably the second most local trail to where we're originating out of here. And we really haven't gotten out of the Ozark National Forest. Now, Ouachita, excuse me. This is the Ozark.
Yeah.
The farthest we've gone is about, we had a 3-night, was it a 3-day or 3-night? I think it was a 2-night, 3-day.
Yeah, 3 days.
We took a trip through the entire Arkansas branch of the Ouachita National Forest off-road trail, and went all the way to Oklahoma, and then turned around and came back.
That was a good trip.
I enjoyed that a lot. That was the only thing that sucked, was how far we had to go off the highway just to fill it for fuel.
Yeah. And, looking back now, the fact that we took the Cherokee on that trip, we're kind of dumb.
Why you say that?
If you remember, every day we had to fill it up with water because it was
true.
Leaking. That was
That's
before we
true.
had the new radiator.
And we brought a lot of extra water just in case of that, though.
Yeah.
Well, at least we knew we were what we were into.
Yeah, as long as you come prepared, it doesn't matter.
Heck yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bring a couple of axles and yeah.
Sure, why not?
Hey, if you're Seth, sounds like you kind of need to blowing his
Yeah,
fire
no
truck.
kidding.
Well, what is other than fuel? What's the one thing that you and I have had to figure out, or all of us had to figure out what to deal with while we were out there? Or what's the
Water?
first? No, water's easy. We always pack a crap ton of water. Something that
Like,
we
unless like last time when I spilled it all over my camping gear.
well, yeah. Now, what's something we as humans naturally have to take care of that you have to figure out what to do while you're out
Oh,
there?
our pooping.
Yes.
Yeah, no one talks about this.
Yeah. So, well, eventually I would love to talk about like bathroom setups, quote unquote. Um,
Yeah, we don't really have
when
one.
yeah, we kind of just make it up as we go. So, seriously.
Just make sure you have toilet paper and you can improvise the rest.
Kind of. No, we usually either have to take care of it, however we can manage it out there. B, hold it in, which is
That's
a
awful.
which that is a common practice.
No, but here's the thing. What's so weird about it is that
You don't ever think
you're
about it and
thinking,
don't ever need to.
yeah, you're thinking, oh, we're going out for a 3-day excursion, I'm at least gonna have to go once a day. But it's not like that at all. I don't know if
It's
it's because
honestly
you
really
just don't
weird.
eat
And
a
what's
whole lot, but like you'll
no, we
literally
eat
go two
great.
days. Well, you'll literally go 2 days and like you're just like, never really had to. It's like your body's just like, I don't want to, so we're just
We're
not
not
gonna.
dealing with it out here. Yeah. And what's even crazier is that, you drink a cup of coffee, about 30 minutes later, you really gotta go.
Nope. We drink
We
coffee all day.
I was about to say we
But the
all
second I come home and have a
we
cup of coffee.
we all but put coffee straight in our IVs, it seems
Yeah.
like. But what is interesting is that this Ozark Overland Trail up in this like Fayetteville area has a couple of day use areas out in the trails. And so they have well, I guess you just call a drop hole shack, but
Probably.
it's built up and nice-ish and has a couple of like camping sites around it, which you just have like a little drop box fee, and a couple just like day use picnics and everything out there. I found that kind of interesting because for all the time that we spent out there in the Washita trails, there is nothing like that out there except for at the Lake Sylvia campsite, right as you
Yeah,
go in.
but for like a lot of our, a lot of times when we go camping, we don't end up going for like a long trail. We more of just go out there to camp and then we just go
Right.
find trails. So
But
like a lot of times we don't go very far.
I've also never heard of anybody talk about them out there though.
Oh yeah, well no, we've driven a lot of those trails and I've never seen one.
Yeah.
But just saying, sometimes like the last time we went, uh, we were able to just drive back to Lake Sylvia and
Right. Which
do
we've
that.
done that in the past if we're just going in a little ways and just going to be hitting those side trails.
Yeah, which I mean, sometimes like, especially if we're in vehicles, like all of our vehicles that we don't, trust a whole lot. Um, I honestly like just going out there for, not too far, but then just driving down whatever trails we can find. It's not
Right.
not as harsh as driving, 4 hours somewhere and then hopping on the trail. That's why
Right.
like if we were to do the high water mark trail, and we'll like assume like Connor goes with us.
I'd almost load a couple of the rigs up and drop them off there.
Yeah, I would trailer them like with my truck, and then I could just leave my truck there because it probably wouldn't.
He,
Those trails are harder. I wouldn't want to take my truck down them anyways,
right.
and so we could
The
just leave that
biggest
stuff.
the biggest potential problem doing that at a place like this though, and especially like the route that I have mapped out, the input and the output are nowhere close to each other.
Yeah, but like you were saying, we could just route one to where it is.
Right. We could go up in one way and then just turn around and come back. Like
Yeah.
now that's also assuming there's a place to even leave it.
Yeah, I just find a church and go knock on the door and be like, "Hey, I'm leaving here."
Oh yeah. Um the biggest thing that I've also heard about this trail is that it's not there's definitely some technical spots like we're kind of used to out at the Washita Trail. Now, the main, however, saying that, the main trail over at the Washita Trails, for everything that we've been on, as far as what you would consider like the auto tour, are all typically, most of the time throughout the year, very nice gravel roads.
Yeah, you should be able to take like a sedan down it.
Most of the times throughout the year, most of the auto tour trails, yes, you could.
Yeah.
Um,
This high water mark trail is like not. It's like
it's
it
like the
seems
side
that it's almost
trails.
all like like the side trails that we go on.
Yeah, from what I've been seeing, is like the first like 10 to 15 minutes down the trail, it's pretty nice roads, but once you get into it, it's very quickly turns into trails that are technical. Not, I wouldn't say hard, but you're just going to have to take smartly.
Yeah.
The other, which would slow you down, which that's no big problem. I mean, most of the time you're out there for the scenery and the fun of it anyway, so that ain't going to hurt nothing.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I've seen is that you have to be very careful about the rivers out there. There's a lot of crossing of the rivers, and I think most of the time you're zigzagging across the buffalo. And if you're out there in the wrong time of year or it's been real rainy, then you don't even need to be looking at crossing a lot of those rivers.
Yeah, we don't want our rigs floating off.
And what I mean by rivers out there, like what we're used to is like a little, like I think the biggest river we've ever gone across has been maybe 20 feet across.
No, it's more than 20 feet. We've had some
Maybe,
that are like 50 feet across, but they're only like
maybe
6
six
to
inches
1
deep.
foot deep. Yeah.
Yeah, no
And
big
so,
deal.
and there's usually like a
Us,
concrete barrier, like a dam, if you want to call it, underneath the water.
yeah, so it pulls up to where it's not rushing.
Yeah. And so they're not like that big a deal. The biggest, they're like, honestly, probably the biggest, like, just mean like sheer mass of water that we've gone through was that one that was on that trail. I think it was last time we went on. And we took like that left turn and you just dip down into it. And before you know it, you're like, in 2.5 feet of water and it's like pretty rushing pretty hard.
The one we decided to turn around on.
No, the one that I dumped in and I thought the Jeep died because I couldn't hear it anymore.
Are you talking about that really wet trail that took us all the way down to the river at the very edge of the
Yeah.
Washtalls?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect us to make it down that. What was really
Yeah. Well,
funny
no, this
on
was the
her,
one that right before we had gone up that trail that we had to turn around on because it was too tight. Remember, if you kept going down, we went down all the way that one and it turned into that river. It was honestly just a very wide or like deep creek. It wasn't even, I wouldn't even consider it like a river.
I guess it must be. Oh, you talking about the one that we had the little TikTok on?
Maybe. I don't know.
Is that the one where we had the Wrangler, the Cherokee, and the truck, and we just went out there for the day?
No, it was the last time we went out. It was just you and me, and then Seth and Sarah came out too. I don't know how you don't remember that.
I
It
guess
was hilarious.
I don't remember a big river.
Yeah, there was.
Huh. Or are you talking about the trail that we've been down many times and the river's like always varies of how high it is?
Yeah, it's the one that it's the like the
Okay,
cut.
the one that we saw all the hunters on that one year.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I
just
got you.
usually
I
all the
got
times
you.
we've been down it, it was never that big a deal. But like this last time we went, it was actually like
Yeah,
because
that
it
was the
was all
highest
that
I've ever
snow had
seen that.
melted.
Yeah, that's the first time I'd seen that river that high.
Yeah, all that snow had melted, and there was a lot of water everywhere. And yeah, when we ate the Jeep.
For me, it just barely would go over the running boards.
Yeah.
I don't think you could open the driver's side door, but Seth opened up his side and it was like running over the running board.
I didn't want to open a door.
But so yeah, regardless, and what I mean by rivers on here, I mean, I think Mitchell's looking at the thumbnail for that on that article right there. He's going across, and if you watch the video, that right there is about, or the width of the river right there is about the length of a football field.
Yep.
And they're driving diagonally up current to get to the other end of the trail. And there's other spots of the trail that are, the trail is the river to get down, which I don't mind driving down them. Just if it's more than a foot deep, we ain't got no vehicles with snorkels on them. So
I've
be fine.
already tried to hydro lock my truck. It's fine.
No, okay.
You just keep your foot on the throttle. It just cleans them out.
Sure.
Whoever decided to design a 1990 F250, they put the like scoop of the air intake right above the radiator, which means it's how a lot of cars are. But by just how all the geometry works, when you hit water, it hits your radiator, splashes straight up. Oh, and what's right there, straight above the radiator? Your air intake. So yeah, that day I deposited that like 1 foot cube of mud at McDonald's. Yeah, I pulled my air filter out and it was like sopping wet.
That's good.
Yeah, it's just, it helps clean them out.
Yeah, that's how you clean your air filter.
Sure. I think I bought a new one after that, actually.
Oh, goodness. Anyway, like I was saying, if you go on to this site here, you can look at the broken down videos this dude's made. I watched the first one and parts of the second one. They're very cool. He talks about pretty much everything he's doing with his recording of the map. But with that said, there's a couple other spots on here that I think would be neat to go on around this area. And I think these are all technically Ozark related or Midwest. I'll put it that way. These are all Midwest trails. There's one in Chadwick, Missouri, that is a motorcycle and ATV use area. Might sound fun to Mitchell, but he's the only one of us out of our group that has ever used a motorcycle overlanding.
Yeah, it has a flat tire.
It's had a flat tire for a couple of years now.
That's true.
And then there is a Southern Missouri off-road ranch, which it says it is an off-road ranch that brings you 940 acres of the most scenic and well-mapped trails. Now, for me, this ain't real encouraging because the picture for this is a big rock bouncer. And then he's in a pretty tight spot in the picture. I don't think we're going to be taking our little pimped out rigs down these trails. That'd be something for Seth to go down in his big yellow crawler.
Yeah, that we have to take that out sometime. Where I don't care where we go.
Yeah, that'd just be fun to cruise down the road with.
Yeah, next time they take you to Hot Springs, I'm going.
Yeah. Another one that's on here is the Oklahoma Adventure Trail, which is a 1,300-mile loop.
1,300 miles?
Yeah.
That's insane. That's pretty cool, though.
Which it's a loop around the entire state of Oklahoma, which you could easily turn that into a pretty fun day trip, I'm sure. Not day trip, excuse me, week trip.
I was about to say.
It says this says right here, caution, some areas of the trail are remote and tough. It said it's known for its long, boggy roads and endless mud. I'm not a big mud guy. I love water and I love rocks, but I'd prefer for the most part, to stay out of mud. That's personally, especially when you're camping, because it's just nice to not have all your, I don't like cake pies falling off my rig when I'm starting to set up camp and get dinner going.
That is kind of true. Hey, by the way, I just did the math. 1,300 miles, you said?
Uh-huh.
If you divided that into a 7-day week, that's like 180 something miles a day. And if you're riding for 12 hours, that means you have to average 15 miles an hour. So if you're going real fast in between the mud holes, or you're just flying right through. Hey, if you're Garrett, that's how he does it. He backs up. He gets a run start.
Which, I mean, most of the time you average 10 to 15 miles an hour.
Sure. I mean, we average like 30 when we're going just on the dirt roads.
Just the dirt roads, yeah. That
Yeah.
was really funny. When I downloaded that dude's map for the for the high watermark trail, you can see the statistics from his trip.
Oh yeah, like his speed and stuff.
Yeah. So the lowest speed recorded was like 5 miles an hour.
That was the lowest.
Well, you get below 5 miles an hour and it just can't. The GPS can't really accurately.
Well, it probably just averages it out anyways.
Right. When the highest they went was like 40 something.
Oh, okay.
So I don't feel too bad for doing 30 out at the Washington Trails.
I mean, I don't either. Like, even you can still do 30 and like come up on a turn that you don't see, and you still have time to stop. So
right.
A little more than 30 and you might make it off the edge, but that's okay too.
And if you're lucky, you'll loop around and you'll just land on the next straight.
Yeah, sure. You just land right on the trail. We're in Overland, not trophy trucks, okay?
Oh, come on. My Jeep can make it.
Sure. We're also on a bulldozer. There's a couple trees in the way.
Oh, I said we have to dodge a couple trees, but that's fine.
Or just have Seth go first.
Yeah, so he'll
just knock them all out.
Roll a couple times, probably. Surely he'll land on his feet. I mean, he might get his headache rack. That might be it.
Why has that thing ever been out there?
Anyway, I don't know if it would be the kind of trail that you would say is. I don't see anything on this one that talks about like specifically what type of vehicles that they have designated this trail for. The badge that they have, they don't have a picture of like anything or anyone out there, but they have a little badge for it, and it's all dirt bikes. So just real fast looked at that video, and this YouTube channel is called All Over Overland, and he is specifically looking at what he's designating the northeast section, and then also what apparently is called the ancient forest. And from what I've seen in just his video, it's a bunch of gravel roads and almost what I would call just undeveloped farmland that's not used as farmland, and then some really muddy, mucky trails. Mitchell looks excited about that. I just said I don't want my cake pies.
Yeah, that is true, but it is fun getting stuck and having to pull people out.
Yeah, I gave you that.
Until you blow your front axle like Seth. Then it's not fun. Well, still fun, just...
That's a difference between a mud trail and a water pit.
You're probably right.
Seth, y'all found a truck eater.
Yes, we did.
Because the Wrangler was taller than that fire truck when y'all went in.
For sure. Definitely.
The next trail that is presented on here is what they call the hashtag S'more to More adventure route. And
that sounds fun.
I hear s'more and I get a little disheartened because that just sounds like sticky mud again.
That's probably true too.
It is a trail inside. Where is this guy? I'm not seeing. Oh, then goes through parts of the Mark Twain National Forest. It says we have gathered some of the best regional expertise from local wayfarers who have been traveling these roads for many years. More Expo has teamed up with the convoy experts at. That was a man screaming outside. Oh, okay. A partner teamed up with the convoy experts at RYYZN to bring you a specific route between S'more and More, which I think those are acronyms for like the areas of overlanding that people have like designated. See where this link takes me real fast.
Oh, by the way, it's in Missouri.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was really wondering. It's the Southern Missouri Off-Road Ranch again. And then which I would say more is just more of the just
Yeah, that's funny. It's in a
Midwest
place
area.
called it's really close to a place called Winona.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because there's a Winona district and the Washita Trails, which completely different Winonas.
Yep. You have the different states. Yep.
Oh yeah, that too. Anyway, they have this set up and they say the route is about a 65 route one way through many parts of the Mark Twain National Forest. Oh heck, I should have known that was Missouri. Just that makes sense now. Um, the ride lasts approximately 3 hours, depending on the group size, and is led by a team of at RYYZN. Assuming I'm saying that correctly. Um, Apparently, it's a place you kind of like sign up for, and they give tours. To me, while that might be a fun area to go check out and whatnot, the kind of like true overlanding that I enjoy, that honestly didn't interest me a whole lot as far as events go. Probably a cool place to go check out, I'm sure. Just the type of like true overlanding, quote unquote, that I enjoy.
Yeah, it's not something we
That's
would
not something
probably
I'd
do.
really be drawn to. But apparently, it should be a lot of fun. And honestly, that's a when you think of overlanding, 3 hours is
That's an
that's
off-road
nothing.
trail, not overlanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the one at the very bottom looks very interesting to me as well. It is called the Eastern Kansas Flint Hills Overland Route. It is here it says it is a 200-mile long off-road route, which begins in the town of Alma, Kansas City, and ends in Seniorville, which is near the Oklahoma border. And it says you can find yourself on high, or you can find yourself high on the hills or low in the meadows. And it says after completing the route, head east to West Mineral, Kansas, and catch Big Brutus, open 7 days a week on your way to the Moore Expo. A lot of these are set up to be like quote unquote places to visit when you're visiting the Moore Expo. That's an event that they have once or twice a year in different parts of the around the nation. Would love to go to one some year. That I think that'd be a blast to go to one.
That would be cool.
Um, but
We've
big,
probably been technically close to that trail.
you mean as far as Oklahoma goes?
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can look at the map real fast. But just real quick, also, Big Brutus is a big old mining digging rig that is just parked out on some dirt road out there. And apparently it's a big popular thing to go up to and drive your overland rigs or off-road rigs up to and take pictures and crawl around. Assuming they got it to where you can crawl around the thing. Wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't. But I'm going to download this file real quick. Oh heck yeah, I can just look at it right here. Okay, this is a um like a north to south route where everything
Okay.
you and I are used to goes east to west. And so you would be correct and incorrect to say that we've been close. Where we usually end up coming out of in the Washita National Forest in the Oklahoma side is coming into what's called a little town, Tallahassee in Oklahoma, which where this is coming out is on the northern side of Oklahoma. So you would be closer to somewhere where you could be getting to Tulsa in maybe 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But like I said, they say this is like a 200-mile long off-road route, which that wouldn't be terrible, honestly, because I think most of well, here, I'll just look at the day one of so day one of the high watermark trail is a 40-mile stretch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 200 miles in 3 days is like what,
Mm,
7?
yeah, ish.
So what? Oh, here, I'll just pull up the calculator. 300 divided by
So
3.
70 miles a day.
Oh, sorry, 200 divided by 3. 66 miles a day, and then we'll say we're riding for 8 hours. Oh, you'd have to average 8 miles an hour. Like, that's easy.
Yeah. So that would definitely be a cool place to go check out,
Yeah.
especially for this general area.
One thing I'd like to do is, you know how all of our trail riding pretty much around the Washita Forest has been north of the what's the other lake?
Like
Lake
Winona.
Winona. Yeah. So we've never gotten into like the south of Winona area. I think we've done like one trail, and it was literally just like the gravel road that like runs around the lake. And so I could definitely just make a trip one day to where we just kind of go as far south and see what it is. I think it turns more into like, I think there's more homes down there, kind of like there is in the
Yeah.
further you go north out of the Washita Forest. But there's definitely got to be some good trails down there even further.
Just
Just
looking at it,
good to explore.
just looking off it offhand real fast on the map, I honestly, oh no, there is one. There is one spot marked on the map that I see that it connects from the east side to the west side around the lake, but you got to go way around the lake to get to it. Now, it would technically put in on a trail that we turned around on. So you know where we went down that spring break with Seth and Garrett?
Yeah.
Remember the trail that when we were going and you would look down, you'd see the big cliff with the nice pretty river down below?
Yeah.
But when we were coming around on the other side, it was the trail turned into a like 7-foot river.
Hmm.
Well, the other side of that trail is where this would meet up.
Yeah. Because I mean, we've already been on the east side, because that's where I was doing like 60, my truck barreling down the highway, and there was like
Okay, well,
those-
where you're talking about, that's like way down the other end of the river or the lake.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's like, well, the one side of the lake you can go down right there. The other side of the lake, like the west side, you got to go really far before you can actually connect.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, now we've been, so you would take that. So we went down south right there, and then we turned left to go east back home.
Yeah.
Well, if you turn right, are you happen to be looking at it?
Yeah. I'm looking at it.
Okay. So you can take that main trail, which I bet is that nice gravel road that goes all the way down. And then if you're not zoomed in close enough, it looks like it just ends. But if you zoom in, it then turns into what I call what a bunch of those off-road trails look like out there. Now, what's
Hmm.
also really funny is that I see an off-road trail out there just in the middle of the woods and it has no connection to anything else. So I don't know how that works. If you can't get to it, then how can it be a trail?
That is true.
But it, so I guess it's probably just a little rough spot right there where it connects to a more
Like
northern
an
side of
actual
that.
trail. Yeah.
Right. And then you come up on that and you can either go like straight slash pseudo right or left and then right again. But left and right again takes us up a trail that I don't know if it's exactly where I said it was, but it's at least somewhere that we quit recording right there where there's a big piece of water.
Yeah.
But then you can come back around, you can go up the other way and it meets right back up to where we've been before. So at least be a neat spot to go check out since we at least haven't been there yet.
Yeah. And if we go there saying that we're going to do that, then it's not going to be like, a lot of times we've never gone over there because we're like, well, it's really far out of the way. And since we've never
Right.
been, we're like, well, we don't know if we have time, or whatever. But if we were just going there just to do that, it'd be perfectly fine.
Right. That would be a trip that we would have to start off in like the morning. That couldn't be a late start
Yeah.
because I don't want to start late at a place that I've never been to before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely, or we could come home that way one time.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, we can also just put in right there. You'll go all the way down that highway that runs straight south, go down that gravel road that goes straight to the lake, and then we could just start our trip that way.
Right. And if we were starting early enough in the day, I'd definitely do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are some areas that I think would be neat. Definitely add a little bit of flavor to what we're doing because I don't get me wrong, I don't dislike the Ouachita National Forest, but it's weird to be able to go out there and drive and really not even need a map out there to get around.
Yeah, we've been
And
out
what
so many times.
and what's funny is that the first few times I went out there without a map anyway, so I was having to memorize where to go in the first place.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, you can get so far into that forest with just being like, okay, I took a right, and a left, and like you're 40, 50 miles into the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So it's not like it's that hard to navigate, anyways.
Let's see. I want to see what the longest. So from what I'm seeing, the longest stretch from one end of which I think that first bit right there that we kind of just hang out in is the Winona district. It's only a 21.4 mile track.
Oh yeah.
Now, where you're getting into these like 50 and 60 miles out there, we kind of turn around and go around. We may actually drive 50 miles, but only be 30 miles out there.
Oh yeah. Well, my point in general is just like you can live like if you're on the auto tour, half the time you don't even have to turn; it just goes straight. So you could just be driving straight for like a really long time.
Right. Now, it's been long enough since we've been all the way to Oklahoma. I
I'd have no idea how to do that. We also need to plan it out better so we don't have to drive like like a couple times we had to go up the highway like a couple miles.
Well, I will say now knowing how to use this app, which is the Gaia GPS map, so much better than what I was using before. Because before I had a printed out map of the full like Arkansas part of the Ouachita National Forest with a highlighted trail that would get us all the way to Tallahassee. And I had a PDF downloaded version of it that would link to a GPS. So I at least knew where we were on the map, but we didn't know exactly what trails to take.
Yeah.
But now I bet you I could go online now, find a full mapped out route to go to Tallahassee and back.
For sure.
And all we got to do is have the GPS app up.
Yeah.
And as long as the lead car's watching it, we're there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely just next time we go out there, I would definitely pass the idea around to everybody about seeing if they'd want to do that again.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's worth it.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I think we are going to just leave it there this time with just the trail talk. We will talk about travel etiquette either next week or whenever we can find a place to fit it in. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Just a reminder that you can listen to these podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. And this has been episode 3 with Mitchell and I. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.